Tonight's missionary letter is from the Malucci family, our missionaries to Bulgaria. It says, in 1978, God gave grace and spared the lives of my mother and me. Instead of taking the little Triumph TR6 like she usually did, my mother took the, quote, boat Chrysler they used to make in the 70s. The car was still totaled by the semi-truck. I was in a car seat in the front seat and escaped without a bruise. About 18 years later, God gave grace to my brother Jeremy and me as we were driving home from an all-night prayer meeting in Palmyra, New York. The car was totaled. Our injuries were one cut ear on Jeremy. I often think about and thank God for his watch care in those two instances. I have added a third. While returning from distributing gospels in Bulgaria, which is about 6.5 hours from us, we hit a snowstorm. Bulgarian roads don't have the guardrails, rumble strip lines, and lights of America. We were driving in a snowstorm at night. The two 20-watt bulbs on the railroad crossing were covered. As we barreled through the barrier, I had a split second to slam the brakes or punch the gas. 30 seconds after stopping on the other side, the train flew past. The car behind me only stopped because at that point, I was out of my car talking heatedly with the railroad crossing guard. The car slammed on its brakes. The driver got out and wiped off the only two warning lights and chimed in his frustration at the dangerous predicament in which we'd been put. Every day is a gift from God. For the second time in his many cities, God set up a divine appointment while we have been distributing in some beautifully pristine areas on the Macedonian-Bulgarian border and impossible to reach without a 4x4 SUV or by foot or horse. We were on the last village before heading home from Blagoevgrad. The starter went. I had a couple of 20-year-olds and 3 of my boys, so I left them at the car and started walking towards the city. God led me to Georgie's family-run garage. I was able to witness to an interested Bulgarian man at length. This is a rarity. And in the end, they opened up the starter, threw in some grease, and off we went. In the last city we distributed, we also had a divine appointment. Brother Danny Kessler had come to help us for a day or two, and we were finishing up the city on the rough side of town. Now, rarely do I do this, but it was so rough that I stayed to keep an eye on the two vehicles. We were in a Turkish area with several mosques and many men just standing around. I struck up a conversation with a man looking at our Jeep. Turns out that he was a Turkish-speaking Muslim who's a Bulgarian citizen. After conversing back and forth and giving one of the men time to give a 5-minute soliloquy on Islam, I preached unto them Jesus Christ. There were at least 20 men standing in front of me listening intently. While no one received Christ right then, I knelt and prayed for the man who had lost his brother in the name of Jesus Christ. And the seed of the gospel was planted. God will give the increase. On the Bulgarian and Turkish front lines in the battle for souls, that's Brother Nick Malucci, our missionary to Bulgaria and Turkey.